What's up, everybody? It's your boy Nola with NNC Visuals. I am here in Vegas. It is USA weekend, and I got my friend from a very long time now in photography, Mr. Anthony Burton. What's going on? Welcome to the show, brother.
Hey, man. Thanks for having me. This is kind of cool.
Yeah, man. I enjoyed it. I'm surprised it took us this long to do it, but we've been busy working. Anthony lives up in NorCal, and I'm down south. So as much as we pass each other, it's hard for us to get together just because we're always working, which is a good thing. Yeah. We still get to hang out though. Definitely. So, but yeah, man. So the people out there, if they don't know who you're give them a little rundown of who you are.
Oh man, who am I? Well, if you don't know me, shame on you.
that's how you started, yeah. Right.
No.
If you don't know, you know him now.
Yeah. No, Anthony Burton photo and video. I just started. I just started like every other photographer, basically. You know, you think this is something that you might be interested in, and I picked up that camera and just started taking family photos. Somebody actually asked me to take a family photo. And I was like, yeah, I'll try it out. And that person posted it on Facebook. That's how long ago it was, because I don't touch Facebook.
Facebook or MySpace?
Yeah.
That's going back, man. Most people who are watching this probably don't even know what MySpace is.
Yeah, give me MySpace. No. But no, that person actually just posted their photos on Facebook, and next thing you know, somebody sent me a message and said, "How much would you charge for family photos?" And I wasn't even prepared. I was just like, $50. Right. I didn't know what to say. That's really what led it to it. I was like, you know what? I actually can make money doing this, and it took off from there. I just kind of took off from there. I ended up doing family photos for a while. Kind of knew that weddings. The first thing that I saw was that weddings was where some money was, and at least for my experience, that's all I knew, and so I wanted to get into weddings. Did that for a few years, and wasn't really happy with the artistic side of it, and decided to do a little bit more fitness and boudoir, and went into that. I was introduced into boudoir because of a client, and at first I was like, no, I'm not doing that. Me and my wife, that's a no.
Right.
But then I thought we could do something that was, maybe a little bit different, and that kind of opened up the artistic side of it. So, and here I am.
So for people out there who don't know what boudoir is, what would you say is boudoir? What is the definition of boudoir photography?
Wow, that's a good question, because people call. I kind of consider myself a purist, which I shouldn't be. I don't think I should be. I think everybody should be able to define boudoir the way they want to. But me personally, I view boudoir as a private space, a private moment for someone, and it's not a flashy time. It's just it's a moment that period that person feels themselves, and so that's what I try to do, with my shots, with my work. I try to make sure that I try to get across that person is feeling themselves, that they believe that they look good, that there's no doubt.
So if you guys haven't figured out today, our topic is boudoir photography. So boudoir photography, the good thing about boudoir photography, I believe, is there's no aesthetic that you have to do it, right? You can be confident in anybody's skin, right? You don't have to be, like with fitness photography, obviously we want a fitness look for the most part, but for boudoir, it's just about, like you said, feeling yourself and feeling comfortable in your own skin. It's a private moment, usually between couples, or sometimes if it's just someone who just met a very big milestone in their life and they wanted to kind of feel a certain way about themselves. Yeah.
You know what? I think a lot of people, I'll be honest, I think a lot of people use a gift for a spouse or I just graduated college, or a milestone. I think they use that kind of as an excuse to be able to do it. I think because society is kind of labeled boudoir as risque, and so I think that people feel like they need a reason to be able to do it. But when not, but I really think people want to. I think people want to feel themselves 24 hours a day, to tell you the truth. And unfortunately, we have a society that kind of forces people to feel like they need an excuse. But I don't think people want an excuse. I love it when people show up and they're just doing this for themselves. That's the best reason.
So let's talk about the do's and don'ts of photography, because you did mention like boudoir sometimes can seem risky. I know that when you talk about boudoir, you're talking about a pretty wide range. You're talking about lingerie, implied, and then full nude. And like just kind of touches through like, the different styles of boudoir that you can do.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, there's a wide range. You'd be surprised. Some people show up and they are as conservative as it gets. There's it'll be a mom who's has 5 kids. Two of them, excuse me. Two of them have already graduated, and they haven't felt sexy since when her and her husband were dating 25 years ago. And let alone do a photo shoot. So they typically people like that tend to be more on the conservative side, and they'll they just the big thing for them is feeling good again. And it's not really about pushing the edge or pushing a boundary. And then you have other people that, a lot of times when it's a gift, like we talked about before, sometimes that is kind of pushing a boundary. Or sometimes it's a milestone. They're believing in themselves. Maybe they've overcome something like you've said before. And it's almost like you're letting go of judgment from people. So you're just saying, do we cuss on this?
You can say whatever the fuck you want to say.
Yeah,
you say.
Yeah, we just say, just fuck it. I'm going to do what I want to do, And I think that's what's great about boudoir, to be honest. I think it's dope when people finally just let go of that judgment from other people. Simultaneously, you are embracing the best of yourself. You're embracing that you're a pretty dope person, inside and out. And I get to be a part of that. It's pretty dope.
So now when you're doing boudoir, obviously some people allow you to post stuff on social media, but boudoir can honestly just be something that you keep personally, like just something for yourself. So, I think that's a big thing too, is that people do these things and they don't realize that, it doesn't have to be posted. Obviously for us as photographers, we would like to post the work, but it is a personal thing, especially like you were saying with the mom who's had kids that's grown up. She wants to feel sexy about herself. It's a reminder, and I've seen your work, I've seen your portfolio, and like you can just tell that that person can come home and when they're feeling down on themselves, they can open that book or see themselves in that light and just get that good feeling about themselves.
I say this all the time that the boudoir experience is really about, or the boudoir shoot is about the experience. It's that the photos are just a reminder. It's a reminder that you're not what society has been saying that you are this whole time. It's a reminder that every time you look in that mirror and you beat yourself up, that was a lie, that you're lying to yourself.
Right.
And that's it.
And that's that's the greatest thing that I see with when I shoot with you, when we do like combined shoots together and stuff like that. The feeling that you get when you show a client a picture and they're like, "Oh my God, is that me?" And that's across the board. That doesn't have to be boudoir. That can be fitness. Right. It's just that realization that they see, like you said, like that's something that they don't see in themselves. They always typically see what people tell them to see or what social media tells them to see, and they don't feel that. They wake up in the morning and they feel a certain type of way, or they don't get the attention they used to when they were younger or whatever. But then when you put them in that zone and you show them that picture, and then they just like, I've had models like cry, bro.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I've actually I've had the point where I like all right, like I can't show you pictures because I can't have you crying because you're gonna fuck up your makeup.
Yeah, you're gonna ruin this shoot. This is a good shoot.
Like, let's cry after. We'll talk about
yeah.
and that was one of the things that I learned at the beginning is I used to always ask the model to tell me about themselves and their journey and stuff, and when people sit down and just start kind of revisiting their lives and the trials and tribulations of everything like that, they get emotional. So, and then that kind of goes into boudoir too. It's just everybody wants to feel sexy, even men. I know I'm sexy. I wake up every day knowing I'm sexy.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of easy for you to wake up.
I just wake up and I just walk into sexiness. You know what I'm saying? So it's hard not to be sexy. You know what I'm saying? And
we're not all that. We're not all that gifted. Well, I take that.
It's a blessing.
Not talk like that. That's
it's a blessing.
Yeah, embrace it,
but
man. You're embracing that.
You know what? I tell myself that just to make myself feel good. And you still owe me a boudoir shoot with myself once I lose about 80 pounds. I got about 80 pounds.
We got time this weekend.
Ooh, no! I said 80 pounds, from now.
No. You can do that Sunday night. You're good right now.
Oh, I think I got to shoot Sunday night. I don't know if I can make that work.
Man, I got time.
But
I got time.
But yeah, man. So let's get on to let's talk from the client's perspective right now. They want to do a boudoir shoot. And what is something that you feel like they should need to know going into finding a photographer or someone that they would feel comfortable? What should you look for for a boudoir photographer?
I would say it's almost equally two things. Far too often people look for a photographer in any genre, whether it's family photos or weddings. And they'll pick somebody based off of a price, and but then they hope to get a certain result from that photographer, and that photographer doesn't deliver the result they're looking for because they're wanting a different look, and so I start this way because typically people find a photographer based on their portfolio, and then they look into who that person is. So the reason I bring that up is, first find somebody that visually, that you like their work. But second, find out who that person is. Make sure you like their story. Why are they doing boudoir? I think the reason why somebody does boudoir is vital. Especially for the people who are doing private boudoir. And I say private boudoir. When you're doing private boudoir, you're doing private shoot that's for you, for you or for your spouse, your significant other. When it's private boudoir, it is definitely important why that photographer is doing boudoir. If you have somebody that just wants to take sexy photos, sure, there's a ton of talent out of there. But the truth is you're not going to that shoot to just get sexy photos. Anybody can give you sexy photos. You're going to that shoot because you're trying to, you want to be sexy. You want to remember that you're sexy. Right. You don't want to stop denying that you're sexy. So it's funny. This reminds me of a saying. When I first started out, started out in boudoir, I had no portfolio. Right. I had nothing, and I was like, how am I going to get these photo shoots? How am I going to get people to do a boudoir shoot with me if they've never seen me do boudoir? And so I was offering these free shoots to people I knew and people I could find and stuff like that. And hardly anybody would take me up on it, okay? And then I remember watching this YouTube video, and it was these two pretty successful boudoir photographers. And somebody was talking about just that. And they said, you don't want a discount boudoir photographer. Why would you want to go to somebody who said, yeah, you can get naked in front of my camera for free?
Right.
That whole message is just wrong.
And I think it translates. And I've had many other conversations, and we're going to have other podcasts about doing trades and stuff like that, and just they're beneficial in that. I mean, that's a whole nother tangent. But the biggest thing for it is just like you said, man. It's just you don't want someone that that does free work? Because I just feel like they don't put their heart into it as much, you know?
I think that, and there's a difference between trade. You know, when you're talking about working with a model, you know, it's trade. You know,
Right.
it's of content. You know, but when you're talking about private boudoir, and we're talking about people who are going to do boudoir who aren't models,
Right,
you know,
right,
who
right.
don't do this regular. You know, when you're doing that, you want somebody, you know, who's professional. You know, and professionals aren't free. You know,
No.
and that's just how it is. You know,
Right.
I can't tell you how many horror stories I've heard of people doing a boudoir shoot for a friend,
Right.
you know, and it just ended up being horrible. And these images end up online and stuff like that. And that's another thing. If you're looking for a private boudoir shoot and somebody offers it to you for free, why is it for free? You know,
Right.
they either need that content, or why are they doing it for free? You know
Right.
what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
you know, people need to really pay attention to that stuff.
So let's flip it on the other side. As a photographer, what is important when you're dealing with clients that are looking for, because and I think this is very important for those who are creatives or photographers or whatever you want to call yourselves in this realm. When you're doing with boudoir, it is one of those things that could get you in trouble if you don't approach it the right way. So as a photographer, what is things that you feel like you should know going into a boudoir shoot or dealing with clients, you know?
Yeah, you know what? Especially as we talk about this a lot,
Right.
you know, especially as a male. But I think anybody, and nowadays, especially nowadays, I think anybody needs to, when you're doing boudoir, you need. We talked about it a second ago, or I mentioned it a second ago about your why. Why is somebody doing boudoir? You know, you need to know that when you're going into a photo shoot. Why are you doing this photo shoot?
Right.
If you can answer that question and stay true to that why throughout that photo shoot, you're going to have a professional, successful photo shoot. If your why is professional,
Right.
you know what I mean? But if you have, if whoever this person is has any other reason to be doing this, yeah, there's going to be more risk involved because, you know, you're going to take a shoot. It's easy to take a shoot in the wrong direction.
Right.
You know?
And that's I think that's important for clients out there or people who are looking to do photography, anything, even fitness photography. We've dealt with this. You are, even though the photographer is in control of the shoot for the most part,
Yes.
but you are in charge of stopping that shoot or stopping something that you're not comfortable with.
And I think that, honestly, I think that goes both ways. You know,
Right.
I told a client today that I've had clients make me blush. You know, like I'm the boudoir photographer. I'm the one that's supposed to have seen everything.
Right.
You know, but I've had clients that have made me blush, and I think that it's important for not just photographers but clients, but especially clients.
Right.
You know, to make sure that they know going in what their no is.
Right.
You know, what they're comfortable with, you know, and stick to that, you know, stick to that. And if somebody isn't comfortable with you sticking to, you know, what you're comfortable with, if somebody has an issue with that, then that says more about them than it does what your no is.
Right.
You know, so.
So, man, I feel like we can go forever on this one right here, but I'm not going to. I want to cut this
Okay.
short. And the reason why I want to cut this short is because my guy, Anthony, is doing a mentorship. And he is, tell us about it. Like, what's going on with that? How is that working?
Yeah, you know what? Yeah. It's funny you bring that up. Yeah, I started a mentorship. I recently, I guess I kind of figured out I know a little bit about photography.
Just a little bit.
And my mentor told me early when he started mentoring me, he said that you're at the place that you need to start thinking about what you're giving back. Mm-hmm. And I don't think I really understood that when he said it. But when I started to help other people learn photography, and you see the impact that it has on their life, man, that's a gift that goes two ways, man. So I'm happy to give back now. So yeah, basically I help people, get better at photography, whether it's boudoir, whether it's fitness, whether it's lighting, whether it's their social media, whether it's booking, whether it's pricing, basically I learned that having a mentor shortens that learning curve.
Right.
And also helps you avoid a lot of costly mistakes financially and with your reputation, And I think that I couldn't recommend having a mentor more, especially to a male photographer in today's world.
Yeah.
Not to get too deep, sorry, but yeah, I think it's kind of important.
Well, good, man. So you guys make sure you check out Anthony, his mentorship. If you're a photographer or creative out there and you're wanting to get into boudoir or lighting or fitness or in it, all of the above. If you are on the other side of things and you are looking to do boudoir, just listen to what Anthony says. Definitely research and see. There's a lot of photographers out there. As much as I would like to just say go to my page and just stop there, shop around. You don't like Anthony said, you don't want free photography. And sometimes I look at free as in not financially. Sometimes a free photographer also is a lot more. So make sure you just look at the photographer, the stuff that they're going out, the comments that are being made. That tells you a lot about the photographer, because there's been times where I've seen people shoot with Anthony and they're like on IG like, oh, he's the greatest thing other than NNC visuals, and he's just so dope, and they're raving, and that just shows you like what the quality of photographer that you're dealing with, so
I appreciate that.
Yeah,
can I add to that though really quick? I know you're trying to cut it short, but I think that's, yes, our work, the quality of our work is important. We're not photographers because we just start taking pictures with an iPhone, but I genuinely think that my clients, attach to me, connect with me. It's more on a personal level. It's because it's a personal thing. So, and that's why I talk about that why. So yeah, let's make sure you connect with the clients, man. That's just as important.
I think that's the most important thing. I know we kind of talk in the same groups and stuff, and there's always that thing like, well, the experience is more important, or the picture is more important, or the editing is more important. Well, for me, I feel like the experience is the thing. Mm-hmm. I've seen and talked to a lot of people who's like, yeah, his work was dope, but he made me feel like shit the whole time, and it's just so for me, it's definitely the experience. And then when you're talking about boudoir, especially that, because you're going to that person to feel better about yourself, to bring that person out of yourself. And if they make you feel bad going into it, can you imagine how devastating that is to a client?
You know what? I'll tell you what. I don't want to get on a.
Please do. Please do.
But these people, to me, I don't have much sympathy for people like that. It actually upsets me because somebody has done something. When somebody comes to a boudoir photographer, they're coming in such a vulnerable place. They have already stepped up. Most people. I'm not talking about your models and stuff like that.
Right.
But when these people come to a photographer, they've overcome so much mentally and emotionally to do this, that when somebody takes advantage of that, man, that's just a fucking dirtball, man. People could be fucking dirtballs. So we do. You said we could cuss
as much as you want.
I'm telling you, man. That's just horrible, man. I guess that's the power of boudoir. That's what's so amazing about boudoir is you have a gift to really do something amazing.
Right.
So I think that's you're giving somebody a lot of power when a client goes to a photographer. They're giving that photographer a lot of power. And is that photographer going to do good with it, or is that photographer going to do things that photographer wants to do, that more self-serving thing.
Right.
So keep the power.
Keep the power.
So
You heard it here first. Keep the power.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if it's first, but close enough. Well, tell the people out there how they can find you. Where can they find you on social media? What platforms are you on? Websites?
yeah, you know what? Well, IG. I mean, I think that's still what we talk about first. Instagram, Anthony Burton _photo. I have a YouTube, but don't check that out yet. Check it out. Subscribe, but just know more is coming later. Okay. Let me see. I do have a Twitter and I do have a Facebook, but everything's basically Anthony Burton photo. So,
Awesome, man.
all right. So,
Well, you guys know where you can find me. You are already on my channel at NNC Visuals. You can find me on Instagram at NNC_visuals. I did just open up a Twitter account, so that's the same name. Yeah, you can find me on all platforms. I have a TikTok. I keep telling everybody I want to start TikToking, but I just haven't done it yet.
yeah,
It's hard.
TikTok's a little bit of a challenge for
It's
us fitness and boudoir
yeah,
photographers.
well, it's just hard for me because I'm old. But you know what? I say that, but then I see all these old people like with millions of followers having fun doing stuff. I just need to get out of my shell a little bit. Maybe that's what I need to do. But
Man, I think you're doing a good job. I wish I was comfortable being in front of the camera.
I don't. You know what? Like one of the things that I've told everybody is just for me, I tried to do this podcast alone and it sucked. I literally would stay in the studio talking to myself, and I was just like, man, this isn't the move. But then I was just like, you know what? Let me start bringing in other photographers. Let's have a real conversation and see where it goes. And I just feel like that's my comfort level. I'm a candid person. I can do stuff candidly, but like if it's just me, like that's one of the
That makes
things
sense.
you always hit me up on my Instagram. It's like, dude, people need to see your face. You need to do more. Like I just can't do that whole like, hey, what's up, everybody? You know? I just feel,
yeah.
but like this is normal for me. Like I like to talk. I like to have open conversations and
It feels genuine too. Yeah, you're right. This is it's a lot more comfortable than I thought it was going to be. I definitely like this more than standing in front of a camera making.
right. And I mean, we got lights and stuff. You know, we're good.
Yeah, you know what?
Professional
I
grade.
kind of feel like a Kardashian or something. With all
No,
this
I mean,
stuff around me,
we're in
man.
a hotel room.
Oh,
We've
man.
traveled to a hotel room for this competition, and we're doing podcasting.
Yeah, this
with
is
a beautiful
we're just
view.
living that Vegas life.
That's what we got to do. Well, no, we're not, because we're here podcasting while everybody's out drunk and partying.
I know everybody always says, "What are you doing to Vegas? Working."
Doing podcasting.
yeah.
All right, yeah. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. Stay tuned. We have a lot more content coming up where we talk everything fitness, photography, everything with equipment. We go all realms here. So stay tuned. This is Nolan, and we'll see you on the next one.